welcome to Europe Today.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you with us this Friday. Now, of course, there was a big historic deal announced this week that the EU will fully phase out Russian gas imports by 2028. Tell us more.
So, basically we've been in a very uncomfortable situation, being dependent on energy from Russia. Obviously, it's not a nice thing to be dependent on energy from anybody, especially not from an enemy.
Completely addicted, yeah.
On the other hand, also, we have to acknowledge that buying energy from Russia has also had other effects. It has helped indirectly finance the war in Ukraine.
So why did it take you so long?
Yeah, so I used to be a member of the council as an energy minister from Denmark, and I was one of the ministers that argued from 22 that we needed to stop this as soon as possible. The reason why it hasn't been possible is that unfortunately not all countries agreed, because normally you would do this via sanctions and then you can do it fast, but it demands unanimity, and we haven't had that support, unfortunately. So what this new commission decided was that, okay, we will choose another way to do it. So instead of using sanctions, we have used the prohibition, so we will actually ban the gas. This has another advantage also, which is that when there's a peace, which we hope there will be soon, that will not mean that we will then just start buying gas again. This will stand also after a peace agreement, which I think is good, because we should never repeat the mistake of becoming dependent on Russia again.
And what will the decision mean now for our viewers? Will their energy bills go up or down now this winter?
No, we're ready for this decision. So we have brought down our consumption of gas in Europe overall, which is one of the reasons why we can do this without it leading to spikes in prices. But we're also working very hard with the countries that will be most affected to make sure that they have alternatives.
But what about countries that are not on board with this phase-out? I'm thinking of Hungary, Slovakia. We saw Viktor Orban, the Hungarian Prime Minister, just recently in Moscow. He said he will take you to court for this decision.
Well, to be honest, I don't really understand these countries. I think we should stand together shoulder by shoulder against Putin to help our friends in Ukraine. But okay, this is the way it is. We will still help the populations of Slovakia and Hungary, even if their governments do not support this legislation, to make sure that also the citizens in these countries, of course, have access to cheap energy.
So the devil will be in the details of this deal. I mean, one thing is launching the historic deal this week, the announcement, and then, of course, implementing will be key.
We've worked very hard on this for quite a long time, so it is something that is happening gradually, and it's something that we can do in a way that will not have big negative effects. It will, on the contrary, have a lot of positive effects, which is that we will no longer be able or have to live with being blackmailed by Russia. Russia's blackmailed certain countries in the European Union. We've seen Putin weaponize energy against us. That, of course, is not a situation that is sustainable for Europe. So this is very, very good news, I think, for the European Union.
And EU regulators will be kept busy making sure there's no circumvention here as well.
That's very true. We need to be very strict in the way that we control this. It's also true that people have said, well, okay, this is the gas, and that's the most important thing, but what about the oil? Because there's also still some oil being imported in Europe, and also here we have said that needs to stop. So
that's on your plate for next year.
I will put forward very soon a legislative proposal to make that happen also. So in 22 we got 45% of our gas from Russia, now we get just over 10%, and that'll go away completely. We got 27% of our oil in 22 from Russia. Now we get 2 or 3%. So it's not a big amount, but still that needs to go away completely also.
And meanwhile, of course, you are diversifying to make sure that we don't run out as well here in Europe.
Yes.
Dan Jørgensen, Commissioner there for Housing and Energy, thank you so much for being our guest on Europe Today.